Morning everyone. Sorry I can't be with you, but I've got a quick job to do today, and that's to help you make connections between the Welsh Government's exciting new approach to professional learning and the evidence from research about what makes a difference. I think Wales is being quite far-sighted in its approach to this. It's concentrating in particular on professional learning, not, as other governments do, continuing professional development. That is the things we do to teachers, rather than the powerful messages they take away from it. And in doing that, it makes it possible for it to think about the pedagogy of professional learning, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on now. But just take 1 minute before I do to think about two teachers. Think about a convertible skeptic, someone who will always question what you do but will go with you if you've got good reasons, and think about a colleague who's perhaps a skilled disappearer, never quite sure what's going on in their head. Test whether the things I'm going to say in this session and for the rest of the day might make a difference to them. Systematic reviews of all of the research evidence about professional learning that makes a difference to pupils as well as to teachers tells us that there are some really important ingredients to the pedagogy of professional learning. First of all, it needs to involve sustained, iterative combinations of evidence-rich professional learning activities that are, in particular, all organised around our aspirations for learners, that they work back from a vision of what success for learners will look like if our own learning is successful. They're geared to identifying and building on individuals' starting points. This is highly differentiated learning, and we need to support it in that way. And they always need to be contextualised for particular subjects and groups of pupils. So the emphasis in the national approach on individual ownership through the IPLJ, on learning organisations where all of these powerful connections have to be made, and the PL blend all strongly connect with the wider evidence base. So too does the emphasis on networking. The research highlights the importance, sure, of specialist expertise of the kind the middle tier provides, but just as, if not more importantly, also peer support. It offers a caution: peer support only works if it involves exploring evidence about how learners are responding to the changes we're making. Just talking about the teaching doesn't work. We have to talk about how learners are responding to that. It involves disrupting the status quo so that we get some exciting fresh windows into professional learning and can see and analyse and reflect on practice through a fresh pair of eyes. And it needs to involve reflective and evidence-rich exploration of the things we were assuming and believing before we started on this learning journey. Without those things, professional learning conversations, professional learning communities don't work. So what are the challenges in putting that kind of big headline set of issues from the evidence to work? At government level, I think there's a really important opportunity. The government sees professional learning as part of building a self-improving system. So what I think there's an opportunity to do here is to model professional learning at system level as part of self-improving system development. That leads me to pose a question. So what would pupil, school, middle tier learning look like if government learning about how to develop a self-improving system was successful? What does that mean about the way evidence is threaded through the process formatively around high aspirations for pupil learning rather than high stakes assessment and monitoring? If we think about the middle tier, then we've got, sure, an important access to specialist expertise. That's what crucial service the middle tier offers. But equally, we've got a really important opportunity to mirror and model effective evidence about professional learning and a PL pedagogy. So that leads to the question: how will the middle tier model organising professional learning in schools formatively, organising it around aspirations for what pupil learning will look like if professional learning is successful, rather than falling into the trap and seduction of fixing things, models of CPD, and make its contribution to the self-improving system genuinely formative. And for the schools, we need school leaders who are able to commission external support from the middle tier confidently and thoughtfully, modelling their own professional learning as they do so. We need school leaders who promote and model professional learning themselves and position themselves as expert learners. And we need school leaders who structure a system that creates a professional learning environment in school. So that poses the question: what do school leaders need to do to build strong professional learning environments and cultures? So go back to your two focus colleagues. In the discussion that follows, share an example of how your focus teachers could now or might in the past have benefited from the way you treat, as it were, your staff as your class, helping to bring this evidence about professional learning to life and mirroring and modelling for them the kind of learning environment you want them to build for pupils. The ways in which you might have designed the school environment, phase meetings, departmental meetings to strengthen the professional learning pedagogy, or your contributions to the middle tier. What do those examples tell you? Think of something that you can do new following today that would reach the learning of those two focused teachers, and above all, think of something that you can give up to make room for it. Thank you.